What's up, guys? Welcome back to the EG Pod Thunder with your boy, the young light-skinned Key Sweat with my guy, Hinc. We're back. He's the co-founder. Hey, we're back. Sparkle _ city _ clothing _ Guys, we had a little fuck up last time. I don't know. That shit has never happened before. Now we're bouncing. I can see that shit. We're bouncing. I don't know what happened last time. So we'll try to recreate the magic when G comes back. But we definitely missed like 30 minutes of a magical conversation.
Great conversation.
That shit has never happened. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe it's meant to be that we're supposed to wait for Steve and Los. I don't know. But we'll make some conversation. It was all about Central Falls. It was a great conversation. But we'll try to recreate that magic. I don't know what
at
the fuck happened.
At some point, whether it's just me back here or with the fellas. But yeah, no, it was a beautiful conversation we were having. It's unfortunate that It's unfortunate that the mics cut off or whatever the situation was. It was what was it, an hour and
30.
Hour and 30. The shit felt like it was 15 minutes. The conversation. I mean, it bounced around everywhere. We brought it back to a couple certain spots. But just being my first time on this pod and with FEND on to the left of my right, it felt so smooth, so natural.
Sure.
It was a genuine conversation amongst good friends and just good vibes over here. That I'm kind of mad we lost some of that audio.
Yeah, I don't get what happened. I don't understand.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough to recreate that magic because a lot of the topics that we touched on was beautiful topics, a lot of energy, a lot of we felt good talking about what we were talking about. Again, there
Big
was
facts.
We jumped around a lot of places, but it felt so organic, and that hour and a half felt like 15 minutes to us here. Then when we look at the timestamp, it was 1:30. Went to go take a little break real quick, and then it just kind of...
Luckily, I guess we took that break because we kept talking for no fucking reason. Yeah, guess to Jesus Christ. There's this video, and you guys don't look at us talking. I don't. But if you can lip read, it's all for you.
It's all for you, right?
No, for sure. But we can try to time capsule that in. So I know we ended off on like your middle school, like that's crazy. That's like that was so much before.
There was so much good content lost in that whatever that time gap was. That it'll be tough to recreate because the conversation was flowing so well. Like Fiji water.
Yeah, and we're gonna miss G's point of view, but I guess what we missed was you were dressing diesel in middle school.
That's left off at.
That's definitely where I left off at. But so and coming back to wrapping around, so where did your influence come from and like your family come from? And like I know you got a smaller family, which is kind of nut. Well, big family, but a small family.
Small at the same time, So I think where we last left off at was that I mean, we were touching on the CF subject a little bit, but just kind of wrapping back around and where we're at. It's a big, small family. So, again, I think we had touched on it a little bit that you, hopefully it was caught in the conversation that we were having, but you have a super large family. I was actually surprised at how many, and that's why I had to ask you how many first cousins there were, and you said first and second, which is pretty much first cousins.
It's crazy.
Especially in the Hispanic family.
100%. Even third family. Sometimes
even third cousins are just like,
hey, I think you're cute. We're not cousins. Because I remember one time, I won't say who, but like there was my cousin's cousins. And like middle school, when you're younger, you're like, oh, that's my cousin.
Right. No, but
we get to high school and like, yo, we're not cousins. Because like,
there's definitely like I think the line cut off at a certain point, like at second cousin. Like you're my aunt's, you're my father's uncle's kid, and then after that I just know you.
Facts 100%. But, my dad's side, I didn't even say this in the last podcast, but goddamn, even the fucking spoiler you had for me about smoking, I don't think we had that either. Goddamn, so much shit we missed.
A lot.
But my dad's side, my dad has 17 brothers and 2 sisters who have kids, who have kids, who have kids.
Are these half brothers or full? Like
full. Bro.
And you fucking said, wow, 10 for my father.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, your father.
17 brothers.
Your grandparents were, planchando,
Bro, it's nuts.
Wow.
On my mom's side, I have
what's the oldest on that end? Like on your father's side?
Because like 60?
So that's even so that's crazy for me because like my father's the oldest of 10. He just hit 71 this year. So I actually met this. So my parents, shout out to my parents, they actually just got here from Colombia yesterday. But yeah, my father's 71, my mom's 65, 66.
Oh shit.
And they look fucking great for their age, but again, that's fucking 17, and the oldest being so. This is a good. So you're close to a lot of your aunts and uncles.
Oh yeah, they're
close, like in that
age range.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like my dad's side is definitely a little bit older, but my mom's side.
How many siblings on your or aunts on your mom's side or aunts and uncles from
my mom's side?
15, 20?
Bro, my mom's side is like 16 aunts and like 4 uncles. Bro, who have kids. My great grandfather just died.
Yeah.
Wow. Like 2 years ago. He was 102.
Wow.
102.
Listen, I hope.
Crazy.
Was he? How do you call it? Was he enterito? Like, was he still?
Yeah.
Was he still? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I would love. So my grandparents, both, all 4 of my grandparents, passed from some sort of illness or whatever it was, and my last living grandfather, who was my mom's father, my abuelo's Jolón. If I were to go out, if I were to choose out of the way the 4 of my grandparents went out, I would love to go out like him, because his last day was with family. So we had just bought a house, and me and my brother had just bought a house in Pawtucket after living in CF for fucking myself personally. Living in, I'm 33 now. I last lived in Central Falls until I was 26, so majority of my life. We bought a house in Pawtucket. It was our first, like, you know what I mean? We broke the mold of, well, I wouldn't even say that, 'cause my sister bought a house, so she broke the mold. In that regard, as far as the children of my parents purchasing a home. But he came to kind of, it felt like a christening, you know what I mean? Like, he came to bless the house. So how he passed away in his sleep. The dude, and I don't mean to belittle him by saying the dude, but my grandfather literally came down. My mom had asked him, to get a little personal, my mom had asked him, Pa, like, everything good? He was supposed to have a doctor's appointment the following day. My brother was supposed to take him to. My mom asked him, like, Pa, are you feeling good? He's like, la cita mañana, like, todo bien, donde lo va a llevar, this and that. He was like, you know what? He's like, I feel great. I don't know if he knew. It almost felt like he knew. Like, to me, like, breaking it down now in retrospect, he was like, Negrita. Listen, my mom's not even that much darker than me, but he called her. He's like, Negrita, honestly, in Spanish, honestly, I feel good. I don't even think I need to go to the doctor's appointment tomorrow. He's like, I just get me my medicine, which is a lot of times why he would come to the States, obviously to spend time with the family, the grandkids, and the great grandkids. But a lot of the time was to get the medicine, because they would come from here, and because he was a citizen, so he lived in Colombia. So a lot of the medicine that he needed for his illnesses and all that would come from here. He was like, Mamita, honestly, I think I'm good. Like, I don't even think I need to go to the doctor's appointment. She was like, all right, well, you're still going to go this and that. And my brother was like, abuelo, mañana, 7 o'clock. Well, you know what I mean? Get ready to go. He's like, yeah, we're good. He's like, you guys have a good night. I'm going to go to sleep. You know, we were having a little family game night upstairs.
Did you feel it was weird?
No. Again, I mean, I don't know if that part of my grandfather and where I kind of got my steez and all that was involved in the missed portion of it, or if it was in the part that we captured.
So I'm assuming again to like this is like his last night.
Literally his last night. So he was like, yeah, no, he's like, I'm good. You guys, like, I'm a little tired, so I'm living in the second floor. It's a two-family house. I'm living in the second floor. My parents are staying with me upstairs, because obviously the stairs and all that can kind of, you know what I mean, wear on an older, older person. So my brother was like, listen, I'll keep grandpa downstairs. He can come up the stairs routinely, you know what I mean, but not live here and have to come up and down this and that. So, like, not to tire him out, because he did have some issues with his legs and whatnot. So my parents were staying upstairs, so we were having a little family game night, this and that, having a good time. Again, came to maybe 10:30. He was like, all right, guys, like, listen, I'll see you tomorrow. Andres will take me to the thing tomorrow. I will go, because obviously my mom wants me to go. And then he was like, you guys have a good night. I'm gonna go downstairs to sleep. Cool, everything was good. My mom woke up early. Always wakes up early. Obviously, she went downstairs to go check on Grandpa. Grandpa normally wakes up early bird, 6:30, 7 o'clock. She went down. You know, I mean,
happens.
I used to fucking sleep in so much, and I used to wake up like groggy and all that, and then I felt like going on my day. I was waking up like at 12, 1 o'clock. I'm a fuck. Give me 14 hours of sleep. And as much as I may feel like my wife always like, oh, why are you so tired? Because you slept fucking I think it's because of that. So now that I sometimes try to wake up earlier, and for me earlier is like 9, 10 o'clock compared to like 12, 1, I feel like I have a whole lot of my fucking day going forward. But not to jump too much off topic, my mom went downstairs and went to go check, cook breakfast, go check in, and my brother and my grandfather like, yo, he got his cita coming up at whatever time it was. And she wants to go check downstairs, and his door was still closed. His room door was still closed. She was like, "Oh shit, that's a little
different.
Yeah, a little odd."
Different.
But Pops is sleeping. I'll let him keep sleeping a little bit more, and then when it comes time for his thing, his cita, well, I'll wake him up one night. Cool. It was like around 7:30, 8 o'clock, 9. My mom goes, but she's like, "Yo, Grandpa's still not up." Goes downstairs, checks the door. Door's still closed. Respectfully knocks on the door, whatever it is. Grandpa might be chilling, whatever the situation is. I think my brother's already upstairs, my mom's cooking breakfast upstairs, and she's like, I'm gonna go downstairs checking Grandpa. Knocks on the door. Pa, opens the door, sees him like in bed. Okay, papi, pa. Cold to the touch.
That's crazy. It sucks,
bro. I've been working in Boston, Cambridge to be exact, for the past 10 years. I was in Cambridge at my job. I think it was like 9, 10 o'clock. My brother was like, "Yo, get your ass home. Something just happened." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'll tell you when you get here." I'm like, "How the fuck are you gonna force me to come home?"
I hate those.
I hate that, right?
I hate those.
And at the time, I was commuting. Like, I was literally strictly. I had been commuting for school and whatnot, so I was literally taking the train from South Attleboro to South Station. I'm like, "Bro, I gotta wait on the train. Like, what's up?" He's like, "Bro," I didn't want to tell you, but Grandpa just passed.
No, that's the worst. Yeah.
I fucking took $100 Uber home. I didn't give 2 flying fucks. I got there, and I'm so. Shit happens in such mysterious ways. I think he had already passed. My parents were already grieving. My mom was a mess, and they were just trying to, kind of like have an understanding of what just occurred. I literally got there before the coroners got there and took him away. So I was fortunate enough to see him before he, for the last time.
Yeah.
Give him a kiss on the forehead, thank him for everything, and just see him go away. But to get off a grimmer topic, like the big families, like. My father was one of 10. You're saying your mom was like one of 17, and your father was one of 50.
It's crazy,
so
bro.
even though I've always been considered, even of my peers, because of how many aunts and uncles I have, just because when I say, well, my father's one of 10, like people are like, holy shit, there's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
My mom's one of 2. So it's a shift in that. But I feel like the crazier part is, even though my mom's one of 2, I have more second and third cousins on her side.
Yeah.
And I will tell you why. Because my mom's mom, my grandmother, was one of 21.
That's nuts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of them unfortunately passed away early on and things like that. So a lot of them weren't able to survive into adulthood and all that. But I can see in the times where it was like, people was fucking. You know what I mean? My grandparents was fucking. So it's always baffled me in that sense. Like, I have a big family, but I don't.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy to me. It's like, when my grandfather passed, it was nuts because like kind of the same, similar situation. Not similar, but kind of like weird how like I said before and off camera, like we've always been mad cool. Like when I see you, always respect. Like you're always mad nice to me. I'm always mad respectful to you. And like I was telling G beforehand, like we're always cool with each other. But crazy how like someone like we're not like best friends and but we have similar stories in that aspect where like my grandfather is so odd. Like the day before he passed, it was weird. I was with my brother. I don't know what we were doing, full practice or something practice. I don't remember. But I'm like, oh. At this point, I was maybe in college, and Brandon was like in middle school. I'm 10, like, and I'm like 9 years older than Brandon, and I'm like, oh, let's go. I never do this. I'm like, oh, let's go. Not never, but like it was
It's
different.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh, let's go see Grandpa for like. Out of nowhere, I'm like, let's go see him.
Listen, life works in mysterious ways. There's always something that just tells you that you should go.
I'm like, let's go see him. We go to my grandparents' house. He wasn't there. He's always there.
Yep.
He wasn't there. I don't know if he's getting food or something. It was so fucking random. Like, this nigga is always there. There wasn't there this day. And I'm like, I'm not going to wait.
Yep.
So we left. The next day, I'm in class. I get a text from my mom. Like, Pablo just passed. I'm like, what's the...
I was just there yesterday.
I was just there yesterday to see him, and I don't want to wait.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, this is the craziest thing. I'm like, I should have waited.
That's how life fucking
Yo,
works,
it's crazy. It's like, yo, I've never do that. And then, like, he's always there. So, like, I never do that. He's never not there.
You take it for granted.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the odds of this shit? So I'm like, yo, I didn't even make, like, I didn't make, I'm not like you, I didn't make it. Yep. He was already passed away by the time I got there. But it's like crazy. It's like, yo, what's the odds of this?
Right. No, so to take it full circle, like, I was fortunate enough to see all of my grandparents pass before. See all my grandparents before they passed in one way or another. You know what I mean? So, and it's crazy because both my grandparents on my father's side passed 97 and 2001, I believe, on my father's side, and then my grandmother passed 2008, I believe, and then more recently my grandfather passed a couple years ago, about 4 or 5 years now. So again, why I chose, like, if I were ever to go out, why I would like to go out as the way my grandfather Salon, who lived the longest out of all of them, and that's why I said 102 for your grandfather.
That's crazy.
And that's why I asked how enterito or how full of life was he
until like 93, bro. He was correct. It's 93 is nuts. Listen, bro.
I understand, like, in this day and age, I think in the last 20 years we've gone through a lot in the sense of, like, you know what I mean, 9/11 really kicked off a lot of shit, like, progressively. They went through a whole
he was 102, bro. It's like 5 years of my life, bro. It's 5 lifetimes.
Yeah, 5 life. That's crazy. So unfortunately, two or three. So a lot of my cancer took a lot of my grandparents. For sure, I think colon cancer took out my colon cancer, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think malpractice or lack of technology or knowledge in certain areas of the cancer situation took out my paternal grandfather. Cancer definitely took out my grandmother on my mom's side. And cancer took out. So it's crazy. I hope it never. I mean, knock on wood or knock on air, because wood burns. I hope it doesn't progress into, like, the majority of it, because I know cancer can be in the genetics, or we can get cancer fucking anywhere.
For sure.
I don't want to keep this too grim or whatnot, because I would love to talk about more positive vibes and things like that. But I love talking about my grandparents because they did set certain stepping stones for everybody, especially on my father's side, coming to the States. Being first generation Colombians to bring forth my father and things like that. I'm fortunate enough to have been born here, and that propelled me. Like, it's crazy to think that my brother and my sister weren't citizens when I was born here. I was automatic citizen.
Yeah, and we have to recoup that CF conversation.
Yeah, it's a beautiful back. It's a beautiful thing.
And we'll get back, because I know Steve and Lowe's and all them. We'll get back to it, but like, we'll get your story back with that, because like you said your grandparents. Yep.
So I would love, like I said, if I were to go out one way, I would love to go out of my sleep as peaceful as possible. My grandfather.
Bro, I've been said that, bro. I'd rather die in my sleep. I'm not trying to get shot in my fucking head or fucking or
have my body fail me in a fucking hospital. Like,
fuck that.
So yeah, I mean, cancer was a big part of my grandparents passing, and then I think again, just he knew it was his time. The way he kind of went out he went out like a fucking G. He was like, hey, I'm gonna have a good night. Fuck my doctor's appointment. Hasta que yo lo bendiga, and Dios lo bendiga, and you know what I mean. God rest all their souls. You know what I mean. And it's crazy because I was closer to my maternal grandparents just because I seen them in my later stages of life. They seen me grow up. They seen their great grandkids, as opposed to my father's parents who passed away, unfortunately, a little too early. I don't think either of them hit their 80s.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It sucks because our last conversation cut off too early.
Fucking believe that shit, bro.
And we bounced around it a little bit, because when Diego had asked me, like, what propels you in life, or what pushes you, you know, I forgot the exact quote that the question he had, but it's just that, like, we work we live to work, not work to live. You know what I mean? And by work to live is life being your job, not your job being your life.
Big facts.
You know what I mean? Like
100%. I definitely understand what you're saying.
Especially like 65. Like I see my father bust his ass for so long, and he's great. Like I said, my father's 71. He's fucking living the best time of his life because now he's in Colombia. Where if he was here, living still stateside with my mom and whatnot, they'd both be fucking miserable because the winter fucking sucks here. Once you get older, you don't want to fucking deal with the snow. You don't want to deal with the cold. You want to deal with nothing. To go to a city like Medellin, where you're from, where a lot of your family members either may or may not be, because a lot of my father's family is here in the States because they grew in the, you know what I mean, they grew up in the States and settled here, whereas opposed to my mom's side, they're all kind of in Colombia. It's a better lifestyle. You can go out anywhere. Like we can go out right now in Colombia, Medellin, or almost anywhere else in the world, depending on even LA and New York is a little bit different because it's a more lively, larger metropolitan. But you go out in Medellin right now, we can go out to the corner store, sit down, have a beer, hear some beautiful music,
Facts,
and enjoy ourselves there. Where here you're stuck to 4 months of maybe at most you're getting 5 months of nice weather. Where over there you're getting the eternal spring, or in other areas you're getting a lot more longevity and way of life where food is natural, is farm to table. Here a lot of preservatives and a lot of bullshit kills us quicker, and that's where like all these carcinogens and all these bullshits kind of end us early. Where when you live in other places you kind of enjoy your time, the air's fresh and things like that. Where I would love to retire early, even if it's in my early 50s. Even I'll take 60% of my fucking paycheck and retire in Colombia, where my money goes 4 to 1 right now. So, yeah. What's up, my people? I appreciate ENG or Effie and Diego having me on here. I'll talk a little bit, just kind of keep the podcast rolling. But I do appreciate both these fellas doing what they got to do, giving some of us the voice. I've seen a couple of my boys, and my boy, shout out to my boy Freddie. You had some great stories, bro. If you want to cut this out, Effie, by all means, SCC1895.com. Go check us out. Hey.
And so, where was that Central Falls like influence come from you? So I know like some people have some bad, like narratives on Central Falls, but then like I feel like I have a good amount of friends now for Central Falls where they have like that like loyalty where they like will literally never disrespect Central Falls at all. So like, where's like that where's your loyalty come from, and like where do you think like the good and the bad come from being with Central Falls? Being like, we had a great conversation about this. We're trying to recreate it, so let's see if we can recreate this again.
We could definitely touch on it, and depending on how you want to chow it up and screw it, if you want to put certain, I mean, if you want to put certain areas, and you know what I mean, push things one way or another, depending on how you edit it. If you want to do that,
no, never editing it. I hate editing it. So whatever you say, this is where we're going with.
Moving forward.
This is where we're going with.
No, so I mean, I think and I can only speak for me personally because I can only speak for my situation and what I've been through and what my family's been through.
Yeah, for sure. So like, when we get the entire SCC here and G coming back on that,
yep,
we can get all their perspectives. Right, but this is your perspective on it. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it.
So like I said, I think what cut off in the last section of our first portion of it was my family's been here since the mid to late 60s. So that's let's call it the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010. 2020s. That's 60 years living in my family living in Central Falls. That's 60 years of my family living in one house in Central Falls. Bless you. Bless you.
Oh shit. So let's get it.
For me, it's the loyalty comes from that. Like Central Falls, bless you. For me, Central Falls gave me or made me who I am. It's
listen to a podcast almost sneezing. Jesus Christ.
ASMR.
Oh, ASMR, baby's got it. Karen, where we at, baby girl?
So, for me, the essence of Central Falls will forever be in me because that's all I've ever known. I've never lived outside of Central Falls until I was an adult. I grew up CF. I was born CF. I mean, granted, I was born in North Providence, but only because there's no fucking hospitals in Central Falls that would have given my, you know what I mean, would have had me there for my mother's birth.
If not, you would have born at fucking...
I would have been born on fucking Sylvian Street.
On Bill's Pizza, bro.
Matter of fact, no. If I had the place to be born at, and my mom was a real OG, and she would have had me where I would have loved, and I only say this because I lived my life there. Not literally, but major fucking video. If you're from CF and you've been there long damn enough, before the Blockbusters, before the fucking laundromat, it was major video at the top of Broad Street and Sylvian Street, with KFC being where that's was at, and McDonald's being where the family fucking dollar. That's
Yo,
how long,
I forgot
that's
the
how
KFC
long
right
I've
there,
been.
bro.
That's how long I've been. Like again, 33 years old. I left CF to buy my own property elsewhere when I was about 26. So
That's fire, bro. We get that too.
so listen, born and raised in CF, regardless of where the fuck I was literally born at. So for me, the essence of CF will forever be in me. It's to the point where it is me. It's not even the essence of me. It is my physical, spiritual, emotional situation. And that's kind of why the brand kind of got created. That's kind of why we are so involved in the city, for the city, by the city. We are the fucking FUBU of Central Falls for you. You know what I mean? For you, by us type shit.
No, for sure.
Where we give back to the city that seen us grow up, you know what I mean, and that's true for both of my Sparkle City clothing partners. But again, going back to just my personal thing, it's for me personally 60 plus years of family generationals, living in one single fucking family household, passing it on to the oldest son, which is my father. My grandfather passed it on to the oldest son, and seeing generations of Colombians come into Central Falls. So the way, if you go down Sylvian Street, we were literally the last house on the right before San Vicente. If you're listening to this and you know what fucking San Vicente was, then you know what it is. It's now a church. We were literally the last house before the corner where the bodega is at. So in front of us, it was fuck. Why am I drawing a blank on the bodega name?
The KFC.
So to the left of the crazy thing is Antillas. So Antillas was in the front of us. To the left of us, a block over on Cowden Street, was Colombian Market, and then to the right of us was Sunny Hill Market. Sunshine, not to be confused with Sunny Hill. Sorry, Sunshine Market on Lincoln Ave. So it was just
Guys,
that.
pull out your CF maps here.
Right there again, Washington Street, Sylvian Street, one way going down. Major video on the top of Sylvian coming down. Go smell the flowers in the new flower pots that they fucking put in the stupid ass street to fucking prettify it, but still the street is what the street was in the fucking 80s. And there was money coming into that street, by the way. If you know, you know. But yeah, no. So again, that's been my whole life. That's been my generational understanding of what Central Falls is. Like the Colombian American Association was built in part due to my grandfather and a lot of other Colombian settlers. When I say, go ahead.
I was saying like you could too, because I was saying all I was gonna say was like the original question on the podcast that we got fucking I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm so heated, bro.
Yeah.
We missed 40 minutes of conversation. Like what we were saying was like how it's crazy how like you and G are coming from like Central Falls and like there is like I don't know a bad connotation, a bad rep on like Central Falls and like I grew up in Providence and I went to high school in Kentucky. I went to St. Ray's and like there is that I would say it's not that aura where it's like a bad like they're ghetto and like that. It's like but it's like they're not coming from a good place. So it's like when you're trying to overcome that reputation, that spectrum, I'm like, no, we're not going to the bad place. So it's like, and like there is examples like you.
There's plenty. Like, listen, if you fuck me, like I'm one person. If you really want to take one of the prime examples, even though she wasn't technically born in Central Falls, Viola motherfucking Davis, and that family still has roots deeply implanted in fucking
She
Central
just came
Falls.
up with the street in Central Falls, right?
Yes, Viola Davis Way, I believe it is. That's right by the high school. Shout out to her sister. I believe it's Dolores Grant. So, it's so funny enough, right? CF native, born in CF, went to CF. So I went to... I'll age myself a little bit. Again, I'm not too old, but in our own like little like our podcast world, I'm quote unquote a little bit older than you guys. But I went to Holy Trinity, which no longer exists.
Oh, I know a couple people there.
I went to St. Elizabeth, which no longer exists. Both Catholic schools. And then I went to Calca. And then from Calca, I transitioned directly to Blackstone Academy, which was a charter school, one of the first charter schools in the Pawtucket, Central Falls, Providence area, maybe even one of the first in Rhode Island. Don't quote me on that. So I never really went to CF High. I was never a CF alumni, to, if you want to speak in that regard. But the dope part about my school and my high school, which was Blackstone Academy Charter School, was depending on what district you were from, what city you were from, you can do whatever, you can join whatever clubs, whatever sport teams, whatever things were going on from the district or city you were from. So I played for the CF Warriors. I played football for the CF Warriors. So even though I wasn't a direct descendant of the Warriors, I am a motherfucking Warrior for life. Not only that, a lot of my aunts and my uncles went to CF High.
Big facts.
You know what I mean? So I am.
So when people are like talking bad about CF, you're like, nah, there's no way. So
there's no fucking way. We are this. Listen, Central Falls is a city. It's not a town. It's not a county. It's not this and that. It's a motherfucking city. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Look it up. This is a motherfucking Wikipedia and Google fact. We are the most densely populated city. Let me say this. Let me reframe that and correct myself. We are the smallest city, most densely populated city in the smallest state in the whole motherfucking United States of America.
So like,
city, C-I-T-Y, not town, not fucking thing. Because I know there's towns of like 32 people and all that type of shit. We are 1.2 square motherfucking miles of a lot of melting pots, a lot of diversity, and a lot of dope motherfucking shit.
Right, for sure.
Look it up. Why Sparkle City was named Sparkle City. There's two reasons. I can give you those two right now, or you can wait until the podcast with me and my boys so we can divulge in a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. We listen to it.
But I'm gonna tell you this.
But you have no regrets like growing up in Central Falls. Like you're proud.
I can't have no regrets. I was born and raised.
Wait, you can't have no regrets. I'm saying like if you.
I wouldn't change. Would I change it for a world? Nope. Why? Because the only thing I kind of regretted was like I never, when I was growing up, I never felt fully Colombian because I wasn't born in Colombia. And I think it's not even fair to say, because a lot of my friends and whatnot who are 100% Colombian by, biological standards or whatever the situation or nationality and all that, a lot of us were born here and were born to Colombian parents. I felt like I was never Colombian because, like I said earlier, my brother was born in San Andres, which is a province in Colombia. He should have been born in Medellin, but again, we had family and my parents were traveling to San Andres, so he happened to be born there. And then my sister was born in Medellin. So seeing that or feeling that, I always felt I wasn't Colombian enough growing up. I was fucking retarded, by the way. Wherever the fuck you're born don't mean shit unless you feel a certain way. You know what I mean? You can be born in East Chapipi and fucking grow up somewhere, and that's, you know what I mean, that's where your roots are, that's where you are. You could be one thing but feel another. You know what I mean? I am a CF native through and through, a Colombian American CF native, one of the descendants from the Colombian American Association that still holds and runs the Colombian festivals in Central Falls and Pawtucket that are so fucking popping and bring so much family and people together and all that. And the Hincapie name holds so much weight in Central Falls that I think as generations, and I think that's where me and my brother carry it, where the Hincapie name held so much weight for so long because my family had been here for 60 years in the same house, the same, you know what I mean, same thing. We've seen a lot of descendants of the people that are currently here in the States and the children of those people. I'd say about 30 to 40% of Colombians might have passed through my 143 Sylvian Street. Because in the lot, or the house that we lived in, it was a double lot. So my house was the back house. It was the single family. And then directly to the right of it, if you're looking at it directly, or to the left if you're looking at it directly, it was a multifamily. We must have had a lot of Colombians, families that are currently situated now, feel like they are fully involved in the community, the CF community, go through there, start their life there, and once they got on their feet fully, branched out because my grandparents or my father or whatever gave them the opportunity to come here, settle yourself down, don't pay us, whatever it may be. Listen, you're coming here, you're part of us, you are from us, you are cut from the same cloth. grow yourself, propel yourself, and become something. So
Do you think that like that type of like leadership had led you to like the path you want, where like you're like, you know what, I'm gonna become like the leader of SCC, and like I'm gonna do this type of shit, and like even like jobs, leadership roles where you've gone into, like where your family has done that, where they took the lead, where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna become that lead, and that's like motivated you to become that, like that type of like leadership role and that corporation role?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I wouldn't call myself the leader of fucking SCC. Why? Because we are a partnership. There is no one leader of it, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Because truth be told, I wanted to start a separate brand with another friend, and it just never took off of it. I don't think my creativeness was really there because I didn't understand what I wanted to do up until what my friend Carlos, which is we'll get him on the podcast when it's all three of us, me, Carlos, and Steve. Sparkle City, the name Sparkle City had always been around and had been synonymous with Central Falls. And things like that, especially. So there's, again, I had touched on it a little bit earlier, but there's two aspects to SCC, well, not SCC, but Sparkle City, in general. So but circling back, there's no leadership or no one quote unquote leader. It's a partnership. It's a fucking beautiful union between two people that has become three people, and we're all progressing in the same vein. But to answer that question is, did that mold it? Yes, not on the Sparkle City clothing side, but molded me as the individual to push forward, to see what's available in the world, to see the progression that you can do as an individual, to take certain risks in certain situations where you could put yourself and propel yourself further than just the square mile that we were situated in.
Thanks.
Because after a while, my grandparents fucking moved to North Providence, and at the time, North Providence, if you lived in CF your whole life and you moved out of CF and you told somebody you were no, not even a sellout, you made it. North Providence was a fucking step up from Central Falls. They might have lived in North Providence, but the family was still deeply rooted in Central Falls, and that never changed within my grandparents. They've always pushed CF. My grandfather, until he passed, maybe a couple years prior to that, whatever it was, I don't know the exact timeline, but he was still a big part of the Colombian American Association, you know what I mean? And other family members have took that and grown with it and things like that. And many of my aunts and uncles have still propelled CF, and until this day still have a stomping ground and still have a footprint in the Central Falls community, whether it be my aunt, who was not a superintendent, but she was very big in helping propel minority families that felt disrespected, or because, you know what I mean, because a lot of the times, again, Central Falls was a big melting pot where it's not just, it's Colombian.
I never understood that.
It's Colombian heavy, but there's a lot of Mexicans, Guatemalans,
because you were saying in the previous podcast where we fucking somehow missed it.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of Colombians coming here because it was a big melting pot for corporations. And I've asked my aunts and uncles this beforehand. It's a big melting pot for like corporations for like the revolution. And I don't know. Yes. Maybe that's why the soccer team's name came from. I didn't know that shit, but
I could be mistaken. But the New England, not the New England Revolution, but the revolution that we know it as far as what what Pawtucket is mainly known for is not the revolution in and of itself. What's the fucking
crackheads?
Let's not go that far. There's crackheads everywhere. But no, but the whole textile situation and all that. Yeah. So we were a big part of it. Like New England in and of itself really propelled. We were one of the first 13 colonies.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
You know what I mean? But New England had a lot of the newer technologies, quote unquote, in that past, where that's why the Slater Mill is still fucking a historical place.
That's nice.
And it kind of, you know what I mean? So what you see now in a lot of what are now a lot of the lofts in Central Falls and Pawtucket are remnants of that revolution, and
that's fire.
You know what I mean? Like that whole time period where the U.S. was growing and becoming self-sufficient in their own way.
That's crazy. That's dope.
And they were bringing, I mean, again, with everything, you bring cheaper labor in because some folks don't want to fucking work, and mostly American white folks don't want to work and don't want to work for cheaper wages. Where you bring, the hard work comes from other countries, and you bring them in here, so you're outsourcing but insourcing at the same time, and that's what propelled the Central Falls, the Pawtuckets, the Providences, and all that to what they are now. Like these cities are built on our backs, like,
and that's what motivated you to come. Like the painter, painter younger age, and like that creative mind when you were younger. See, we're all coming back. We had that fucking 30-minute gap, but we're bringing it back.
Right.
I'm a good co-host. I'm trying to host. So like now we're bringing it back. That 30 minutes you miss, that's what you miss.
A lot of good conversation.
A lot of good conversation. We're bringing back with Steve and Lowe's, but that's what we're kind of miss. Where on that aspect of it, where you miss it and like. Where you're bringing it back and forth, like, so you missed out. Like, you had that family ambition on you, and that's where that came. And like, that's where you're seeing it when you're growing up, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do that shit growing up.
Yeah, I mean, there was big shoes to fill. I think that goes almost for everybody. There's certain.
Yeah, but props to you though, because there's a lot of people where they will. I said this on the last podcast, but there's a lot of people who will have that growing up, and they're like, you know what? That's too big of shoes to fill. So I'm not going to fill it. I'm going to do some bullshit. I'm going to fucking make an excuse. I'm not going to do it. But props to you where, you know what? There's a big ass shoes to fill. It's like having Michael Jordan's shoes to fill, especially in the Colombian family. Like, you know what? There's a lot of like, Jesus Christ. There's a lot of, they're doing this and doing that. And, I can't fulfill that. But you've seen that and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take that challenge. I'm going to try to accomplish and more. And I mean, I'm not sure in your family but aspect of it, but like I can say I feel like I've done my part, so I'm not sure if you feel like you've done your part in your family, but like you're doing,
like our family continues to grow though. I mean, again, because now my cousins are having kids. My brother and my sister have my brother just had his first child. Shout out to Abraham, and shout out to Abraham Solon, I should say, because my brother was nice enough, I mean, I wouldn't say nice enough, but he commemorized my late grandfather in his son's name. You know what I mean? Abraham Solon is a very strong name. And then you have my sister who has has 4 kids. Yeah, 4 kids. And they all got, they have beautiful role models to look up to within us. And even my brother-in-law is a fucking hell of a work. You know what I mean? Dominican, Trinidadian, and Tobagan, coming from that side, coming from New York to Providence. So we're not scared to fill in these shoes because we were told hard work pays the fuck off, and hard work pays off. My family is filled with a lot of professionals. There's a fucking immigration lawyer who she was shout out one of my youngest aunts, who was one of my favorite aunts. I don't mean to, I don't know, none of them are gonna hear this shit, but
maybe
if they do, shout out to y'all. You know what I mean?
That means they're your favorite.
So,
watching this.
No, so both of my youngest aunt and uncle, who are the closest in age to us and have kind of connected to us the most, you know what I mean? Because again, they're so close. Now I wouldn't say so close in age because they still got a good amount of age on us, but my aunt, and I think she is literally the youngest, my aunt Marilena, she lives in Washington now, was living in LA for a long time. But she enacted and was part of the DREAM Act, which is keeping a lot of children, immigrant children in this country, and has continued to push for that. So there's a lot of big shoes to fill, and a lot of political, a lot of just business minded. You know what I mean? One of my other aunts works for Genzyme, which is a huge pharmaceutical company. My uncle's a physical therapist. Like, I got an uncle who was like just about a CEO or a COO of a company. You know what I mean? My father, my father being the oldest and having graduated, my father let go a lot of his dreams by coming to America and meeting coming to meet his family anew. And shout out to Nacional for winning the fucking championship and all that. I also fucked them in the same vein because I'm puro de rojo, you know what I mean, del team. But the reason why I am for that is because, you know what I mean, like, my father gave up a lot of his dreams to come and be with his family here. So but he was on the semi-pro team, or at least like the practice squads of Medellin, you know what I mean, El Team and shit like that. But yeah, so like as far as like do we ever feel the shoes were too big to fill? I think everybody feels a certain type of way where some certain shoes might be too big to fill, but you, like Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you got to kind of put yourself in unnervy situations where you learn to fucking swim, throw yourself in the deep end. And can you paddle long enough to where you make it to shore? You know what I mean? You gotta put yourself in uncomfortable situations to see what kind of person, or in my case, man, or in any feminine case, woman, you may be. And there's been plenty of hiccups in everybody's. I mean, especially nowadays in the social media aspect, we only show the glorification of the steps or how far we've gotten. We never show the hard falls or the difficult things that we got to where we are. Everything's a glamification. Everything is I need it now, I need it today, I needed it yesterday type thing. You know what I mean? Where if you're not showing your come up, you can show a lot of people are showing their how the fuck do I put it? A lot of people are showing their ascendance, but never showing what it took to get.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean, everybody's giving you the shortcut to where they're at, never showing you the behind the scenes of how long it took.
People love the Kanye Netflix special because he made it.
And the thing is, what I fucking loved about that, thank you. I mean, good transition.
Yeah, because he made it.
What I loved about that transition is people called him motherfucking crazy, especially in the last couple of years. When he was quote unquote off his meds, or when he was supporting Trump and all this and that. But you look at that fucking genius or whatever. I mean, basically translated to genius in his own fucking spelling. Excuse me. But the man has never changed. He is still
himself.
And matter of fact. And to change this, and we can change topic and go off from a serious central conversation into the fucking Kanye and kind of the hip hop conversation we were having earlier, wherever you want to take it.
Oh yeah, we definitely missed that conversation. Fuck, bitch.
No, I think we caught a good part of that. But you seen what his mother provided for him.
That shit. I like teared up.
It was a fucking very emotional.
I teared up.
Donda, listen, the way and to come back with Donda, and he had, you know what I mean, in the late registration, he had the, you know what I mean, flowers and all that.
Hey mama type shit.
Mama, all that type of shit.
Teared up, bro. Teared up.
When I think her medical situation or her malpractice had occurred and that situation happened, you kind of see the footprints that he filled. And not only that, the fucking if you go back to the BET Awards, and I didn't watch the full award, I just watched a couple of clips online and whatnot, but you see his speech for Diddy.
Yeah,
that was off the fucking top, from his heart. And you can tell the man was fully there. He was giving his fucking flowers to the people that deserve their flowers. And Drink Champs is way beyond our fucking, you know what I mean, our things right there. But that's kind of what I love about bringing it to hip hop. That's kind of what I love about the Nori podcast, where he gives these legends their flowers while they're still here. Because a lot of the times, you're not shit until you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to love you until you're dead. You know what I mean? That's when they really regret everything that they should have given you, but they weren't able to give you. So, yeah.
That's definitely what I said earlier. So, like, you're talking about all this stuff, and, like, you're talking about, like, your family and stuff like that. So, it's like, that definitely what I was going to say, where I froze up earlier. Don't even notice. I probably edited it out. Mm-hmm. But you meant, like, we haven't talked about even me and your girl, mm-hmm. and, like, me and, like, your family, stuff like that. Yep. So, like, where, like, that came into, like, so... I mean, I can't relate to that. I have not met my girl, my dreams at this point. So, like, when you meet your family, like, well, like, you know your family, but, like, you have, like, a girl and, like, you're meeting and, like, introducing. It's like, where's that even come?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, where's that aspect of your life coming into it? Like, where you can meet a girl and you can, like, trust her to, like, introduce her to your family, especially, like, your family being so involved with your life. Like, how's that, like, coming involved? And, like, we didn't even touch this even with G last time, so, like, this is a whole new topic. We're here. Hopefully we can catch this. I think we are catching this.
We're good. Right, we have to look at the screen and make sure we're meeting it. Our levels is up.
Yeah.
It was a smooth transition, man. I met her on a whim.
So, like, what do you mean on a whim? So, like, I know. So I love hearing stories. Cause, like, I feel like sometimes we're like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not trying, and then like I feel like when I am trying, it never works. But then when I'm not trying, it works. But then like then I try with that girl when I'm not trying, and then it doesn't work. It's like, yo, what the fuck is this? Doesn't make no sense.
A little goes a long way. So what I say by a whim is because I known all her friend group longer than I've known her.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because when I met her, like legit, like knew who she was, what she was, and what she was about. I had known her best friend to this day since kindergarten. Actually, two of her good friends from kindergarten. Kindergarten, preschool, like I'm talking about almost in diapers, just about like 4 or 5 years old. And one of her other friends was another situation where I had met her later in life because of she was dating one of my cousins at the time. So I met her through this. So I knew all her friends or her current friend group now way before I ever knew who the fuck my girl was.
It's crazy.
So when it happened at a fucking Super Bowl party, dude, and didn't know who the fuck she was from a fucking hole in the wall. I'd say for me it was almost an instant connection.
That's crazy. So like, what do you mean? Like, so like when you met, you're like, oh damn, like you're cute. Like,
yes, it was exactly that. She was very pretty. You know what I mean? For me, I've always been attracted to. Again, with as fucking nasty as it sounds, you eat with your eyes first. You know,
you sound like a slut.
You're such a dick for that. That's a great drop. No, so for me, again, you eat with your eyes first, and then you go for the food. You know what I mean? If the food
You
don't,
sound like a slut.
if the food don't look good, it don't smell good, you're not gonna eat it until you take that bite, and it fucking blows your mind. Like, holy shit, that's the best thing I ever fucking tasted.
No, for sure. So like, you're literally seeing her, you're like, that's the thing. You're like, oh, she's bad.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, who's that?
but I feel like I've seen so many girls where I'm like, oh shit, she bad.
Right. Again, it sucks because a lot of girls, especially nowadays,
so tough, bro, so tough.
The physical looks, I mean, now they're all fucking paste, fucking.
There's so many filters and stuff, bro. It's tough.
Filters are fucking ridiculous.
It's tough.
And that's one thing, going off filters, that's one thing I admire about my wife. Less is more with her. She's not a heavy makeup girl. She puts some eyeliner on, some lip gloss, a little bit of mascara, and she's fucking beautiful. You know what I mean? Even when she don't have any of that shit on, she's beautiful. But yeah, no, it was a physical attraction at first. She walked, and now I only say that because I knew a lot of the people who were at that Super Bowl party, because I was invited from my brother on my brother's side. Even though I knew a lot of the people, they were a little bit older, more of the people that he was cool with. And when I got there, it was a lot. I grew up with a lot of these people. I knew a lot of these people and whatnot. So she was the oddball out. So she instantly stood out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless whether she was pretty or not, whatever it was, she would have stood out because I had never seen that face, never seen her before. You know what I mean?
So when you seen her, you're like, I'm talking to her no matter what.
No. So I wasn't. I literally, I'm like, yo, I looked at my brother. I'm like, yo, she's cute. He even said, like, yo, she's cute too. Who's that? Again, because we didn't fucking know her from hole in the wall. It's a weird conversation to have right now, and I mean, I think everybody in that realm, in that time frame, is a little bit past it, because she was dating somebody who I knew at the time. But we've had a conversation. I grew up with the kid. I love the kid. I grew up with him since, again, pretty much diapers, so to speak. So it was just weird. Again, I thought she was pretty. I told my brother, I'm like, yo, she's cute, because she stood out the most out of everybody that was there. Because you know what I mean, she was the odd face out from everybody. I knew everybody but her, so she stood out in that sense. Whatever, clicked up, pretty cool. You know what I mean? Didn't even bother having a conversation with her because I seen who she was with. I didn't want to disrespect. I didn't want to step on toes or whatever it was, and I kind of seen what it was and left it at that. And just went about our business as if we were just invited to the party, as it was. again, kind of.
I'm taking notes.
So I felt a vibe in the sense, and not necessarily like a she's feeling me, I'm feeling her type thing. Like there's a mutual thing. It wasn't even like that. It wasn't even like that for a while actually. We just vibed. She was cool as shit. I was cool as shit. We were just both being ourselves, playing beer pong, laughing, whatever it was. And then months later, I got a friend request on Facebook, and it happened to be her. I'm just like, yo, what's up? How you doing? This and that. Nice to meet you at that time. It had been a while. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't think I would see you again because, you know what I mean? Like, we had... I wouldn't say we were... It was. I mean, it's the same friend groups in a larger perspective, but it wasn't like my everyday clique.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know what I mean? Again, I knew the dude. I knew the gentleman that she was dating and whatnot at the time and whatnot. So I hollered respectfully. I'm like, yo, this and that, blah, blah. Reached out. I'm like, yo, listen, I don't mean no disrespect. I don't know, like, I don't feel comfortable talking to you at the moment because you are dating X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, I knew him. You know what I mean? I don't want to step no boundaries in that. She's like, no, it's cool. Like, we have been broken up for the, you know what I mean? We have been broken up for some time, and that.
You're like,
I'm like,
yeah.
No, not even to be on some like yeah shit. Because again, I still till this day I still respect dude.
Yeah, I have no idea you're talking about.
And I don't want to say no.
I mean the podcast host. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I mean, if you know, you know, and a lot of people do know. Obviously, because it's like, a lot of the same. It's a similar story.
I don't know. Like, I'm being the guy on the opposite side. I don't know. You're like,
right? No,
you're scheming, and they're like,
you're being a good
blah 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 blah. You're like, nah, we together. You're like,
don't get me wrong. There was a certain part of me that was like, oh shit, word.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it.
I don't feel so guilty, but I'm like, I'm gonna still give it some time because I respect the dude. She said, no, it's been a couple, you know what I mean, couple of weeks, this and that. So I'm like, excuse me, all right, cool, this and that. Like, nice to meet you. It was a pleasure meeting you, this and that. Left it alone at that. And then it had been a couple months. I'm like, I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What are you doing today? She's like, no, nothing, chilling. I don't know if I invited her. Again, I knew her friend group, like her current friend group now.
For sure.
And I can't 100% say this with certainty, but I don't know if she invited me or I invited her somewhere. As friends, like literally just come through. My boy's having a barbecue. If you want to come with your girls, etc.
See, that's where I get weird. Cause I'm like, are we friends? Yo, especially, I mean, you're a little bit older than me. It's like, all right, so like we're gonna talk, whatever.
Especially nowadays, everything
nowadays
is so
it's like, so what are you doing? It's like, oh, all right, y'all, do you want to hook up? Like, not hook up, like, oh, so what are you doing? Oh, nothing, chilling. All right, cool. Do you want to go watch the game? I'm down.
Yeah.
Why the fuck else would I ask you to come by to watch a game?
You're feeling somebody, of course.
If you feel someone, and they're like, they agree.
Listen,
why else am I asking?
I'm gonna tell you this right now, guys and girls. We are the fucking opposite sex for a reason. Girls try to fucking say something in the most undescriptive, very like you better know what I'm talking about.
So you're saying like, oh, she didn't ask you for like, anyways, like, but you know why I'm asking you. I'm not asking you to watch if I want to watch a game, my boy. I watch my boy.
I'm going out of my way to invite you to something that I know me and my boys enjoy. There's a reason why I kind of want
exactly.
I'm failing you.
Exactly. Like, if I'm asked you to watch a national game, then
Medellin. I'm watching national game.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, national fucking Celtics game.
There's a reason why
I'd rather watch company. I'd rather watch it with my boy Elray, with fucking Diego, with you. I'd watch it with him other than you.
But if I'm asking with you, it's for
a fucking reason. Right? I'm not asking you really think I want to watch the game with you?
Bro, it's the same question. Like when the girl pulls up to you, whether it's your wife, your girl, or somebody you just... Do you notice anything different with me? Excuse my language, but bitch, just tell me what the fuck you got new nails done. You like my hair?
Exactly.
Be straight to the point.
Exactly. It was like, what's the point? Like, what's the point?
They go about things or they say things like we understand, like we are telepathically communicating and we know exactly what they want us to say or talk. Like, no, guys, we're fucking retarded. Listen, ladies, we are fucking retarded.
Yeah,
if you want anything to say it directly.
Just say it directly.
Other than that, we are gonna fucking tell you all the wrong answers.
If I'm asking you to watch the Celtics game with me,
come and watch the Celtics game with me. Enjoy. If you don't catch the vibe and you don't like it, all right, you know what? It is what it is.
It is what it is, but like, it is what it is.
At least give me a chance.
But if you come, give me, that's a whole other topic. So like, Jesus Christ. So like, all right. So like, if you're gonna fucking go on a date with a guy, yeah. So fucking girls, I have a girlfriend like this, like
a friend that's a girl. Yep.
it's always weird saying that. I have a girlfriend.
Yep.
So she's always like, oh my god, she's a child.
We can't say that way. I got a female friend.
I have a
Once
female.
You say it's a girl, Once you say it's a girlfriend, you got a fucking girlfriend.
Exactly. I have a female friend who's a child nurse. She knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you, bitch. So she's always like, "Oh my god!"
Respectfully, bitch.
Not respectfully, bitch. She's like, "Oh my god!" I was trying to fucking talk to guys, blah blah blah. But she's that fucking girl she makes good money.
Yep.
She's good looking, but she's always like, "Oh my god, I never have no guys interested in me," but she does. But she's mad picky. She's like, "Sorry,
know how to read the thing with."
She's like, oh, no one ever tries to talk to me. Like, well, they do, but then like,
But then you push them off. Does she push?
She
like,
pushes
or
them
does
off.
It go into.
She has. I mean, everyone has their own like perspective on
Right.
guys, girls, or whatever,
or whatever they feel.
who
whatever
they
like.
feel.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, okay, well, you have a really high spectrum. It's like,
yeah.
all right, so you want a guy who looks like fucking
6'9".
Trey Songz, who's like 6'4", who fucking makes $200,000 a year, who fucking has a 10-inch dick. It's like, all right, cool, I get it. I mean, that's what you want. But that guy, is he realistic?
The fucking unicorn.
Yeah, it's realistic. It's like, yeah, I want a girl who's fucking 5'5", who looks like Beyonce, who has a fucking ass like Nicki Minaj, who has tits like fucking, I don't know, who has the best tits in the world. I don't fucking know. It's
They
like,
just go on Instagram. They're all over now, but yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. But it's like, is that realistic?
No.
Who has no ass, who's not bipolar? It's like, oh, that means you're making a creative person in your fucking mind.
Yeah, you're fucking building on my player on fucking 2K.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So it's like,
Sims in this case. Like,
so it's like, where is this like this weird? And that's where I'm like, I don't know, like people are like, oh, you have this like high spectrum of like who you want to like talking about me. I haven't even released this podcast yet, but like El Ray, my best friend,
Yep.
he's like, you have, it's not released yet. He was like, if I'm gonna talk about you, talk about me, he's like, oh, like if I'm gonna like talk about like where I think you go wrong sometimes, like you have a high spectrum of like who you want to date. It's like, yeah, but why wouldn't I?
I mean, we all have certain, and again, touching back to what I said earlier, you eat with your eyes, so your first, regardless of what you fucking say or what you think or whatever it is, both women and men are always going to be attracted through the eyes, meaning physically first. If they meet your standards to an extent visually, meaning that you're attracted to them for whatever characteristics that you may, or even sometimes, like for me, and I'll speak
so like,
personally.
so for you, so like when you saw your girl, wife at this point, what was like the thing you're like, wow, the wow factor, like I gotta talk to this chick.
So to me, prior to my wife, like I've dealt in a full range of women, meaning, I mean, and you can say that in a physical standpoint. Like I've dated the thick chicks, I've dated the skinny chicks, I've dated the dark skinned chicks, I've dated the light skinned chicks. So for me, it was more so, again, I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to, and I think that goes for both women and men. But you're always going to be attracted to what you're attracted to, because that's what you're attracted, and boiled down to it, that's what you're attracted to.
With facts.
But there's so much more to that, and I think the deepest. Oh my god!
I thought that was me. No. Oh, Jesus Christ!
But the deepest thing beyond that is, physical attractions are one thing, because you can meet the dopest female, the dopest dude. He may be the fucking total package on the outside, but once you have a conversation with certain people or certain individuals, and that whole appearance goes out the fucking window, it's just like you're not that attractive anymore.
So like say, who do you think, not obviously personality wise, like say celebrity wise, who is like the baddest chick you could think of off the top of your head right now? Baddest chick look wise. For me, granted her age, and I don't mean to. It doesn't even matter.
Just Salma Hayek is fucking
beautiful.
So
Salma Hayek. Say
beautiful.
she's bad.
Yep.
the worst personality in the world. She's
I'm
a
done.
fucking bitch.
Nope.
Blah blah blah. So like, what's taking that? Like, what? Let's say she's a regular girl from Pawtucket.
Yeah.
She's bad.
Yep.
You met her, blah blah, like, spin a game, and then like you go on a date with her, 2 days with her. You're like, oh, she's showing her true self.
Yeah.
Where is that going? Like left? Where are you? Like, you know what? This is it. Fuck this girl. She's bad, but where do you realistically draw that line?
In that regard, if given that scenario,
I mean, there's girls in Pawtucket. There's girls in Rhode Island who are sexy.
There's girls all over
Everywhere.
The fucking world.
It's like, where,
Everywhere.
like, so, like, say someone's that bad, you're like, oh, she's like that
Listen,
level.
honestly, once whatever I'm looking for beyond attraction, physical attraction or looks and all that is out the window. Me personally, again, this is hypothetical. This is not talking about any one specific or instance.
Yeah,
it's in the hypothetical.
specifics. Podcast, baby. Don't get mad at him.
It would be more of, I'm just trying to hook up with you. I don't see a long-term situation with you. I wouldn't want to take it beyond me, quote unquote, smashing. Because there comes to a certain point where if you can't relate to the person that you are attracted to and you feel that chemistry, that connection with, and you can't have those conversations, you can't devil in. Listen, a lot of make or break is, can you handle the silence in certain relationships? What I mean by silence is, if we're not in the mood, and this, I mean, I'll even touch notes on me and my wife.
No, get into it, bro. Get into it. You can throw it back at me.
Yeah, no. I'll even devil into it a little bit into me and my wife, and kind of why we've been going on for so long. Like, we're literally 2 days fucking apart. She's 2 days older than me. She's my she rocks my cradle. You know what I mean?
DMX.
That is my right to the cradle to the grave. But yeah, no. If you can't be with the person in their worst or their best, because everybody wants to see everybody at their best, right?
Facts. Yeah,
So
for sure.
if you can't, obviously you can deal with somebody who's living their best life, who has their best fucking things going forward. Life is great. Life is peachy. Once certain shit gets rocky, and you can't have those conversations, or you can't be with her in the same room where you're not talking to each other, but you're both physically there, and you both just are kind of at peace in the sense of you're talking about it, but give me 10 seconds.
No, for sure. 'Cause I've never been. I can say in that like waiting period of time, I've never been in that aspect of it. Like where like I can think where I've been in that aspect. I'm like I've never been.
No, what I was trying to say
never
about,
been,
what
yeah.
I was trying to say about the 10 seconds is like give those 10 seconds of silence. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, I can't even do that.
Right. No,
I can't even do that.
you know what I mean? Like, can you survive those 10 seconds of where sometimes there just isn't things to say because you are both going mentally or kind of talking amongst, like, not even amongst yourselves, but talking to your individual self for those 10 seconds to see.
That's deep.
To, you know what I mean? To see where you are in that conversation. Again, it can be a fucking 2-hour long conversation, and then things make, you know what I mean? You're having a great conversation, you start talking about certain topics, you get to a certain topic, and then you hit a certain plateau where now whatever you guys were saying before that, you were in agreement with, you kind of had an understanding in, and then you hit a certain point in that conversation where things clash. Can you give yourself those 10 seconds of silence, those 10 seconds of break, where now you're just talking in your monologue internally, and so is she? Can you give yourself those 10 seconds, and can you still go back either to that conversation, or can you still pick up where you left off without feeling a certain type of way against somebody? You know what I mean? Because that distance, quote unquote, meaning those 10 seconds of distance or non-conversation and whatever it is, where you're internally talking to yourself and vice versa, you're thinking of a lot of shit that you wish to have said, or could I have said something different, this and that. If after that you can't, I can't, you know what I mean, I can't live with that silence or whatever it is, that's a big part of what relationships are nowadays. Because a lot of people, our attention span is
especially in like the day and age where like you can just contact someone immediately.
You know what I mean? It's the instant gratification.
You're dating a girl, you want to marry her, you've married her.
Mm-hmm.
So when you feel like, oh, this is a girl, this is the girl I'm gonna marry, she's the best. I mean, I've never had that feeling. So like, how do you feel that? And like, when do you know it's like the one? Like you can like, all right, this girl isn't worth it. This girl isn't worth it.
Yeah.
This girl is worth it.
So I can't, in my perspective, like me and my wife had been together for 8 years. We got married last year, so call it 7 years. You know what I mean? We're going on our 8th anniversary in December. Our first year anniversary married in October. So again, going back to those 10, again, give me those 10 seconds of silence. Can we pick up where we left off without feeling awkward? You know what I mean? It's that situation where you know when and if she's the one or if she's not the one. And especially in this day and age, I will tell you this right now. You don't know who a person is until you live with them to a certain extent. And I think that's kind of when I asked my girl to finally live with me after some while, you know what I mean? Because obviously a lot of dating and all this, even now, whether it's older folks or younger folks, whatever it is, in the beginning stages, both people are apart. You know what I mean? You know,
it was crazy. She's like, I was talking to some girl. She's like, hey, she's like, oh, do you want to come out? I'm like, oh fuck. She's like, oh, do you want to come out? Like, we can go out to like my family's house. I'm like, oh, it's cool. We go. And I'm not saying like we're talking or whatever.
Yeah.
But like we go, and I'm like, damn,
You don't see yourself with that family?
I can't see
and that's a big thing. No, don't feel wrong for that, because a lot of the times that may. It sucks to say, because you're not dating the family, or you're not with it for the family. You're with it for the person that you are going out with or talking to, whatever it is. But family dynamics makes a big part of it, because if that family is dysfunctional, or if you can't get along with that family, or if that family don't vibe with you, it's gonna be a long, rocky road.
100%, bro. 100%. I mean?
So don't get me wrong. It's not a make or break it, but that's
it definitely
all right. So let me give you some of the things. Living with a girl, however long you dated, 1 year, 2 years, fucking couple months. Some people get fucking married in 3 weeks because y'all the motherfuckers is crazy. But like for me, like, and my girl gets mad at it, and I'll even say it out here, and I know if she does end up watching this, like she'll still bitch and moan about it.
Like 5 hours in, so it's cool.
Right. But for me, with me and what I did with my wife is, she might have felt a certain type of way. So we've been together since like 23, 24 years
That's
old.
crazy.
And again, she's 2 days older than me, so we're both Libras, so like, you know what I mean, there's a balance and an imbalance between both of us. But when we first got together, it was a long talking stage, because for me, I had been in long relationships prior to that. One in high school leading into college, and then one college leading into out of college, or even in between college, because it didn't go far. So I gave myself a nice little break, and I told myself, like, listen, I'm not gonna say I love you or whatever it is, and I've never been the one to say I love you until I meant it. You know what I mean? And girls,
same way, bro.
Yeah, and girls always say I love you first, because we're logical creatures. We're logical creatures. They're emotional creatures. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother conversation. But in my regard, like, you know what I mean? Like the way I was building my life, and when I met her, like, we had our situation going on, whatever. We met as friends, it became more than that, etc., etc. Like, for me, what connected me to my girl is similar to my brother, which I have a fucking huge connection to. Like, sometimes me and my brother can look at each other, say a word, and it's the same fucking word. You know what I mean? It was that type of connection. Sure. And there's been, like, when me and my girl, like, when I knew she was kind of the one that I at least wanted to start the date with. It's funny that I told her, so the way it happened, and I'll divulge a little bit into like how it kind of occurred, is, again, talking back and forth, the whole texting situation and that. She had said something that I was thinking of, right? I didn't put it into text, she had put it, and I said, yo, get out of my head. Meaning, like, you were literally thinking the same thing that I was thinking of, right?
So as I'm writing "Get Out of My Head," she puts, "What do you mean?" And I'm just like, "No, like get out of my head." She's like, "Oh, I've been on your mind for so long," and I'm just like, I was literally about to text back like, "Yo, it's not even that, it's not that," but then I fucking backspaced all that out. And it was just like, yo, maybe, I mean, I have been thinking about you, you know what I mean? And a certain, beyond the friendship type of thing. But the way I meant it originally was like, you literally were thinking what I was thinking, right? So she took it as one way where I was saying it another way, but I was feeling what she was saying, you know what I mean? Because it was get out of my head. She took get out of my head as you've been running through my mind the whole time, so her feet are tired. Where I've been thinking about, yo, get out of my head because you're literally.
That's crazy.
You're literally, you took the words out of my fucking mouth, right? So I deleted the whole, basically me talking shit back to her, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I have been thinking, you know what I mean? I have been wanting you to get out my head, this and that. And then that kind of propelled it because I'm like, yo, she might be the one that I want to holler at.
So what you're saying is like, yo, shoot your shot.
Yeah, again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Shout out Michael Jordan for that quote, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But yeah, shoot your shot, and a lot of the times is we aren't and I'm gonna say this for females, a lot of the time y'all have high standards, y'all don't know, yeah, they know what they want, but they don't expel it the same. Sometimes men are too direct and women hate that, and women are too indirect and men hate that. Another piss break.
Oh, you going?
No, you're taking your headphones off.
I'm good. It's just me and you, so
right. I got another 10 minutes. But to that extent, you know what I mean? Like it's weird because, so again, living with your partner to understand what their habits are, how they go about living their life when somebody else is there and things like that. Having those instances where there's silence amongst you, can you live amongst the silence independently and together?
No.
And what was it? Fuck, there was another. You brought another thing up that I was.
I feel like I can't. I don't know.
Because you haven't been there?
Yeah, I can't do it.
You can't do what?
Being like the half, like
you gotta be either all in or be all out?
No, I mean, I feel like I talked to a girl, like she's like, oh, like I can't be like the I guess I can't have it out. It's like, oh, okay, so like I'm gonna talk to her. I don't know. It's tough. It's like,
sorry, not to cut you off. The other part I was talking about is the family dynamic. You know what I mean? So that was another thing that.
It's like I wanna have like, so alright, so like me and my brother are really close.
Yep. And you guys are 9 years apart.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a big gap.
It's a big difference. So it's
still
like,
be close. How old is he now?
He is 20.
You know what I mean? So you're 20, 30, 29?
I'm 29.
And so imagine you're 9 years his elder. So now he's finally coming into your play now.
Yeah. So it's
you guys
like
always close, or has it only become close?
No, we always close.
All right, that's dope. Close. So next time,
it's just me and you.
Yeah. No. My time is up.
Right here.
My man's.
What's up, guys? I want to thank you for lasting with myself. Not Hinc. Shout out to Hinc. That was a fire. He was dope. I love having him on. And as I said like 1,000 times in the podcast, we had a great first session. We're going to recreate that. Los and Steve are going to come through with Hinc next time. And we're going to have a great SCC combined podcast. That being said, I'm not sure if you guys really noticed, but that was like a Drinks Champs episode for me. I was pretty wavy, I'm not gonna lie. So if you noticed that, if you didn't notice that, hopefully you didn't notice it. But if you did, that's why. So I want to shout out to Hinc for kind of navigating that one. He was kind of the host. I was saying shit and he had to pick it up and go from where I was at. So, we had some good stories. That was a good podcast for what it was on my end. So, I would love to have him on again. He's going to come on. We're actually coordinating it right now through IG. So, it's going to be a great time. We're going to get to how Steve joined, Los's ambition behind their combined thoughts. So, can't wait to have them on. Maybe drop it before they drop one of their next merch drops. So, go follow SCC right here, SCC1895.com. Go follow my boy Hinc on his IG. Support them. They had a drop this week, so definitely go support them. Send them to the moon, just like you sent us to the moon. Like, subscribe, cop their merch. They have some fire ass shit, and I can't wait to have their entire group here. And yeah, we'll get into it. I will be sober for this one. No Drink Champs episode for that because yeah, it was a different first time I did that on the pod, and I honestly, it's weird. It's a cringeworthy in my opinion. Certain aspects. You guys can let me know if you like that or not. How it came across. Let me know. I love hearing feedback. Hit me up on EG Pod of Thunder on every social media, TikTok, Instagram. Hit me up. Explore with F. Oh, Explore with F right there on every social media as well. Run the numbers up. Send us to the moon and go follow your boys. And we'll be back for part 2 with SCC, baby. S, get it.